I want you to imagine, just for a second, that you are staring at a social media analytics dashboard.
Oh, yeah, that is a familiar sight for a lot of people.
Right. You probably know the exact look of it, even if you just track your own screen time on your phone. It's, those graphs, the charts, those little green arrows pointing up, the red arrows pointing down.
Usually causing a mild panic attack.
Exactly. For most creators, that screen is just a source of pure anxiety. It's this endless treadmill of chasing viral trends, engineering the perfect clickbait, and obsessing over hyper-fast exponential growth.
It is entirely exhausting just thinking about it, honestly.
It really is. But today's deep dive flips that entire concept completely on its head.
Yeah, we are looking at data, yes, but we are analyzing it through a completely different lens than anything you'd ever find in, say, a standard digital marketing course.
Right, or a social media playbook. So the source material we have today is this incredibly unique, almost startling document. It's titled Google Ravi Kishore Sunkara YT Studio Feedback Results.pdf.
Which is quite the title.
It is a mouthful.
Yeah.
And right off the bat, I have to tell you, this is not a standard corporate data report.
Not at all.
It reads like a deeply philosophical interpretation of digital metrics. I mean, it takes the cold, hard numbers of a YouTube studio dashboard and translates them into a manifesto about human attention.
That's a great way to put it. Our goal today is to explore how this creator is using a framework they call the old monk strategy and withovism to build what the document describes as a sanctuary of reasoning.
A sanctuary of reasoning. I love that phrasing.
Right. They are actively, deliberately resisting the modern attention economy. And the fascinating part is they are using their own analytics to prove that this resistance is actually working.
Okay, let's unpack this, because usually when we talk about digital growth, we're talking about millions of views and massive scale.
Yeah, exponential curves.
Right. But this creator is throwing out the dictionary and redefining what success even looks like. But before we get into the numbers, we really need to decode some of this terminology.
We definitely do.
The document throws around terms like the old monk strategy and withovism. What are the actual mechanisms behind these ideas? Explain this to me like I'm 5, because they sound like, buzzwords if we don't ground them.
Fair point. Let's ground them. So the old monk strategy is essentially a philosophy of presence without promotion.
Presence without promotion. Okay.
Think of an old monk meditating on a remote mountain. He doesn't go down to the city square with a megaphone shouting for people to come listen to him.
Right. He's not handing out flyers.
Exactly. He just sits in peace, radiating a certain frequency, and trusts that the people who genuinely need his wisdom will make the difficult climb to find him.
That is a stark contrast to the internet today.
It is. In digital terms, it means creating content without frantic marketing.
And withovism, what is that?
So withovism, or what the document sometimes calls with love onology.
Another amazing term.
Yeah, it's the underlying attitude of that monk. It's a framework of operating with fundamental compassion for the viewer's intellect.
Oh, compassion for their intellect. I like that.
Instead of treating the audience as mere data points to be manipulated for ad revenue, you treat them as peers capable of deep thought. It completely replaces the anxious pursuit of more with what it calls systemic acceleration.
Systemic acceleration.
Right, which isn't about how loud you can yell, but the quality and the depth of the connection you are making.
So it's really about the depth of the root system, not the height of the tree.
That is a perfect analogy, yeah.
Well, let's actually look at the raw data for this period to see how that root system is growing. The channel had 717 total views.
Okay.
That's a 35% increase compared to their previous period. They logged about 25.1 hours of watch time, which is a 22% increase. And they gained 9 new subscribers, bringing their total live count to exactly 58.
58.
Now, if you're a big digital agency, your first instinct is to scoff at 58 subscribers.
Oh, absolutely. They laugh it out of the room.
But the way this document treats these numbers makes so much sense. It feels like a small, cozy indie bookstore celebrating 9 brand new, fiercely dedicated regular customers who come in, grab a coffee, and stay for hours.
Yes, exactly.
Rather than, a giant mega mall obsessing over millions of anonymous people just walking past the storefront without buying anything.
The document actually refers to this specific set of metrics as the raw, honest reflection.
Raw, honest reflection.
Right. The actual size of the numbers matters far less than the relationship between them. We see a simultaneous rise in views up 35% and watch time up 22%.
Okay, so they move together.
Yes, that proves the existence of what the creator calls unforced growth.
Unforced growth. That correlation is huge because, like, if I use a cheap clickbait title with a shocking thumbnail, my views might artificially spike by 300%.
But your watch time wouldn't.
Exactly. My watch time would absolutely tank because people click, realize I tricked them, and immediately close the window.
Right. That concurrent rise proves viewers aren't just clicking and bouncing. They are staying to absorb the reasoning.
They're settling in.
In the framework of wittivism, they are discovering the content, finding value in the depth of it, and actively choosing to remain in that space. It's a healthy, steady pulse rather than an artificial spike driven by algorithmic manipulation.
But if these viewers are sticking around, it naturally makes you wonder what exactly those 58 people are sitting down to watch.
It does.
Because the content itself is actively pushing back against everything we've been taught about the internet.
The data on specific video performance is where this old monk philosophy really starts to flex its muscles against standard platform algorithms.
Let's look at the actual videos.
Yeah.
There's one titled Debate But Don't Rebate Raw Naked Dispatch.
Bold title.
Yeah, all caps too. That one is pulling an average view duration of about 3 minutes and 28 seconds.
Which is very solid.
Then there's another called the AI Learning Constitution. Stop cognitive atrophy, averaging over 4 minutes of watch time. But the metric that really blew my mind is the 30-second retention rate.
Oh, this part is fascinating.
It is a staggering roughly 38% across both their English flagship video, The Anatomy of Uncontrol, and the Bengali version of their core message titled, One Earth, One Life.
Nearly 40%.
Yeah, nearly 40% of the people who click are still there after the first half minute.
That retention number is incredibly significant when you consider the style of the videos.
Well, I have to push back on this, though. Every single guide on digital content creation, every internet guru out there, says that the first 30 seconds of a video are a total war zone.
Oh, absolutely. The whole hook culture.
Right. You are supposedly required to use frantic hooks, flashing visual text, jump cuts, and high decibel audio to practically force people into staying.
The whole Mr. Beastification of the internet.
Yes, the Mr. Beastification. And if you don't do that, they say your retention will flatline. This creator is doing none of that. So how are they holding almost 40% of the audience? Aren't they just burying the lead?
It seems counterintuitive, yes. But what's fascinating here is how the document explains this through a concept called impenetrable intros.
Impenetrable intros.
Right, because the creator refuses to use those artificial masks or dopamine-driven tricks you just mentioned. The introduction to these videos acts as a natural, intentional filter.
A filter. So they are intentionally trying to weed people out right at the start.
In a way, yes. If you survive that first 30 seconds of an unfiltered raw dispatch, it means your brain isn't currently looking for a quick dopamine hit.
Ah, I see.
The 40% of the audience who stays is voluntarily entering that sanctuary of reasoning we talked about.
They aren't being held hostage by editing tricks.
Exactly. They are actively choosing to sit with the logic. And when we look at those 4-minute average view durations, it proves the audience is deliberately resisting what the document calls cognitive atrophy.
Cognitive atrophy, just letting your brain turn to mush on short-form content.
Yes, they are exercising their minds by choosing deep focus over short-form distraction.
It's almost like the lack of a hook is the hook.
That's a brilliant way to phrase it.
But only for a very specific type of mind that is probably exhausted by the rest of the internet.
Right.
But that creates a massive logistical problem. I mean, if you aren't using clickbait and you aren't using traditional SEO keywords to gain the search bar, finding these specific patient viewers in the ocean of the internet should be nearly impossible.
You would think so.
If the monk is just sitting on the mountain, how are people finding the trail?
Well, the traffic source data provides a truly unexpected answer to that.
I'm going to share these numbers for you listening because the breakdown is just wild.
It really defies conventional wisdom.
It completely does. Roughly 36.3% of their traffic comes from suggested videos. About 27.5% comes from browse features.
Okay.
18.1% is coming straight from channel pages. And a tiny, almost non-existent 6.4% is from YouTube search.
Which is wild.
I mean, the irony here is thick. Every YouTube strategist screams that new channels must obsess over the search bar. You have to find the perfect keywords to survive because the algorithm won't promote a small channel.
Right. That's the standard advice.
But here, search is basically irrelevant.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the system is doing the heavy lifting without the creator needing to engineer a viral trap. We often view algorithms purely as mechanisms for pushing disposable noise and viral trends.
Because usually they are.
True. But an algorithm's ultimate function is simply pattern matching pairing a viewer with what they are most likely to watch.
Wait, so because the content is so distinct and the retention is so pure, the machine actually knows exactly what to do with it?
Precisely. It's naturally matching these naked dispatches with minds that are already fatigued by the digital wilderness. You have nearly 64% of discovery coming from suggested and browse features combined. The algorithm identifies a viewer who is skipping past loud, flashy content and offers them this quiet alternative. The truth, as the author frames it, simply finds its own path.
That is incredible. And what about that 18.1% coming from channel pages? That feels incredibly high for a channel with 58 subscribers. That means people are bypassing the feed entirely.
The document has a beautiful term for this behavior. It calls these viewers the mirror reflection friend.
The mere reflection thing.
Yeah, this represents people who are deliberately typing in the channel name or navigating directly to the creator's page. They aren't waiting passively for the algorithm to serve them a video.
They are seeking it out.
They are actively returning to the solid ground to refuel. It's a deliberate, intentional act of consumption, which is, increasingly rare today.
It's organic discovery in its purest form. Which naturally makes you wonder, if the algorithm is doing this heavy lifting to find these people, who are they actually finding? Are these tech workers in Silicon Valley? Are they students? And honestly, where are they physically sitting when they pull this up?
The demographic and device data paints a very vivid picture of what we might call the global living room.
The global living room.
It's what the document terms the rapid seeding stage.
Well, the audience makeup is fascinating. They have 415 unique monthly viewers. And of those, 97.1% are brand new to the channel.
Massive influx of new eyes.
Yeah. Even more striking, 96.8% of the total watch time is coming from non-subscribers.
Which matches that organic discovery we talked about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Geographically, the signal is reaching India, which makes up about 36.3% of the audience. The U.S. makes up 12%, and there's reach in Bangladesh as well.
A truly global audience.
But the device breakdown, here's where it gets really interesting.
The device metrics reveal a lot about the viewer's state of mind.
Think about how you usually watch YouTube, right? You're probably on your phone.
Oh, absolutely. Swiping away.
But for this channel, a massive 42.5% of this audience is watching on a TV screen. Another 27.7% are watching on a computer monitor.
Which is huge.
Over 70% of viewers watching on a TV or computer screen is practically unheard of for an indie creator. Usually, it's all mobile, all the time. But this is like turning the platform back into long-form PBS television instead of a rapid-fire mobile doom scroll.
The document describes this exact phenomenon as the masterstroke of TV dominance.
Masterstroke indeed.
Think about the physical posture of the viewer. When you watch a video on a mobile phone, you are usually hunched over, swiping with your thumb, distracted. It's a high-anxiety, temporary posture.
Right, you're waiting for the bus or something.
Exactly. But when you cast a video to your living room TV or pull it up on a large desktop monitor, you are engaging in lean-back or lean-in viewing.
You've made a physical commitment to the content. You're settling into the couch. You aren't standing in line at the bank.
The audience is treating these audio and visual files as deep, philosophical podcasts in their living rooms, not as disposable digital garbage to be swiped away the second they get bored. It changes the entire relationship the brain has with the information being presented.
I also love that 12% of this audience is in the U.S., while the creator is anchored in India. That geographic spread proves something really important.
It proves a core tenet of their withovism philosophy, or, with Levoinology. The resistance to algorithmic control, the desire to escape cognitive atrophy, these aren't localized cultural issues.
No, it's a human thing.
It is a universal human need that completely transcends borders. The algorithm is finding these specific minds globally because the human condition it addresses is a global condition.
So we have this incredibly solid organic foundation. The viewers are intentional, the growth is unforced, and it's reaching people on their living room televisions across the world. It creates a kind of immunity to the usual digital noise.
It really does.
But, The machine doesn't like it when you ignore the rules for too long. So what happens when YouTube's automated system explicitly taps you on the shoulder and says, hey, you should really follow these mainstream trends if you want to get big?
This brings us to perhaps the most philosophical part of the entire document. It's where the creator actively defies the very system that hosts them.
Inside the YouTube Studio dashboard, there's a tab called Get Ideas for Your Next Video. It's literally the algorithm telling you what it wants you to make based on current data,
The temptation tab.
basically. And for this channel, it's pushing them to chase corporate podcast celebrity names. It's pushing clickbait superstition videos, literally suggesting they make a video titled 11 Shocking Reasons,
Classic clickbait.
and higher urgency political and legal conflicts with titles like Big Action on Election, again, in all caps.
It's the platform offering them a shortcut to easy, cheap views.
Right. And the creator's response in this document is a direct quote. They write, "We won't follow trends, instead we create the trends." So what does this all mean? I have to play devil's advocate here for you listening. Isn't it a bit arrogant to just completely ignore the trends tab when the system is literally handing you a silver platter and saying, this is exactly what people want to watch right now?
It's a fair question.
If you subtract all the popular stuff, don't you just become invisible? How do you balance being a standalone node with actually being found?
This raises an important question, and it really isn't arrogance. It's recognizing that those trends are traps.
Traps.
The document introduces the concepts of systemic subtraction and beauty by itself phenology.
Beauty by itself phenology. Another fantastic term.
To answer your question about becoming invisible, we have to look at the mechanism of how they counter these traps using systemic subtraction. It's like day trading versus long-term real estate investing. The algorithm wants you to day trade attention, constantly buying and selling daily outrages and viral moments.
Sounds exhausting.
It is. This creator is buying digital real estate and building a permanent structure on it.
Okay, I like that analogy. So how does systemic subtraction work against, say, the celebrity podcast trend?
Well, the system wants them to chase big names to get casual overlapping clicks, but the creator subtracts that need. Instead, they rely on their own standalone node titled One Earth, One Life. They don't need to borrow authority from a passing celebrity. They become a standalone entity presenting raw logic.
I see the 11 shocking reasons suggestion, and my instinct is that he counters this by just doing the opposite, like making it purposely boring so it doesn't feel like clickbait.
Not boring, but foundational. That is where beauty by itself phenology comes in.
Ah, okay.
The trap of clickbait is relying on cheap shock value to trigger an emotional response. Instead of sensationalism, they provide root cause clarity, like they did with the AI Learning Constitution video. Think of it like a solid piece of antique oak furniture versus a flashy neon plastic chair.
The oak doesn't need to be shocking.
Exactly. Its value is intrinsic. It stands on its own beauty.
What about the political urgency? The all caps, big action on election stuff that changes every 5 minutes on our feeds, whether it's from the left or the right.
That is the ultimate trap of the modern internet, keeping viewers in a constant state of mental tension over temporary headlines. The creator counters this by examining the structural blueprints behind society through videos like The Architecture of Power.
So they zoom out.
They aren't looking at the daily friction. They are looking at how the machine itself is built.
We look at the blueprint while everyone else is trapped in the daily noise of the feed. That's a powerful distinction.
It is what the document calls the solid ground stance. The creator notes that the modern digital media landscape is full of lions of digital media fighting over temporary reflections in the water.
Wow.
But this channel is operating on permanent truth. By refusing to follow the algorithm's desperate pleas for more noise, they keep their own logical immune system completely free of external pathogens.
It really is a masterclass in resisting the urge to just play the game. Which brings us to the end of our deep dives today. If we summarize the profound nature of this old monk strategy, it is a powerful reminder that you don't actually have to shout to be heard.
You really don't.
By deliberately stripping away algorithmic masks, refusing to use manipulative hooks, and just resting in peace with pure logic, it is entirely possible to build a deeply meaningful, independent connection with an audience. Even if that audience starts with 58 people watching on their living room TVs, those 58 people are truly deeply engaged. It changes how I want to interact with the internet moving forward.
It is a remarkable case study, and it leaves us with something to critically examine in our own daily lives. Think about your own digital footprint today. If an algorithm were to analyze your watch history and your screen habits right now, would it see a mind actively seeking a sanctuary of reasoning, or would it see a mind trapped in the crossfire of temporary trends? What would happen if, for just 1 week, you applied systemic subtraction to your own life, logged out of the doom scroll, and only consumed content designed to stand alone?